Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Saki.
Hello,
Namaste.
namaste. Nice to see you. How are you?
Oh, I'm a little bit excited. Instructions and some.
So I have just started the recording of the conference, and hello and welcome to everyone. Thank you for being here and thank you for participating in the conference. And we would like to thank you very much for being a part of this conference. Um, as scheduled, we will start with Professor Lehner's keynote. There are some technical things about the conference sessions. Maybe since Professor Lehner already has the hosting rights, so he has already started to share the screen. I will show the screen later and we can discuss about it later, but I think we can go forward with you.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you very much for organizing everything, Saki. I will give my thanks in the end of my presentation too. Here you can see hopefully the correct spelling and the correct words to say hello to everyone and buenos dias and good morning, especially to our friends from the US, and buenos dias. It's a bit earlier at the east coast of Latin America. So my talk will be more an overview, and I called it observation because of course I cannot give a scientifically proven idea of our conference, as the conference is more a work in progress, and the conference is more maybe like a symposium where we exchange ideas. And I will explain in the next, let me say, 20 minutes, what is the main idea and what is the main idea why we made this conference like it is. And so again, a hello to everyone from all over the world, and buenos dias, and buen dia to Brazil, and namaste to our friends from India and from Nepal, and Suba Sandia, when I pronounce it right, good evening also, and Susandia, and Zavubona to South Africa, it's our friends from Eswatini, and of course, Guten Tag to the people in Germany. Welcome to this presentation and welcome to the opening of this conference, the idea. So here we can see the time difference which we have. Some people are at the dinner time and some people just got up. So we have more than 12 hours time difference between us, and I mean, we all are suffering from the pandemic situation which we have in our world. But one good thing is that we can come together at Zoom, and Zoom now, after 1.5 years, really functions in nearly all countries of the world. When you remember the first days of the pandemic teaching at universities or at schools, it was a mess. And nor Zoom nor meetings or whatever conference tool you had was functioning in a good way. And now, after 1.5 years, it functions. Because our first idea was to ask people from all these countries to come to Europe, to Germany, or maybe to another place in Europe, maybe to Belgium. Thank you, Von Esmail. So we thought to bring everyone to Europe or maybe to another place to meet. And now we can meet online, which is also a sustainable idea, of course, because we save a lot of fuel and maybe a lot of carbon dioxide. But how does it come that we have so many people from so many countries in this conference and from so diverse, I mean, so regional diverse countries, which are so far from each other? The reason is sitting in front of you. In the last 10 years, we, and also my colleague Anne, who is also joining the conference, visited all these countries. And through our visits, which was sometimes an excursion with students, but also an academic exchange, from these visits came the idea of exchange. So we got students from Nepal, we got students from South Africa and from Eswatini, we got students from Colombia to come to us. And also, of course, we visited others. We visited then Bruce Johnson in the US and other colleagues in the US. We visited you in Nepal, South Africa, and so on. So this is the connection that we came around. And always we were thinking about sustainability, sustainable development in all means of our world. Myself, I'm an educator. I'm my topic here at university is education in biology. And as I think biology is quite easy to teach, I'm always very interested in STEM, which means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics teaching. And this is why I'm not only a biologist or biology educator, but also a STEM educator. And you will see in the presentation what we are doing in this field also. Okay, so this is the reason why we are here, why you are invited to join, and why you are connected with so many places all over the world, which are naturally not connected. I mean, the neighborhood between Nepal and India is quite close, and visiting to each other is very easy, or Eswatini in South Africa, or Colombia and Ecuador. But how can we come together over such large distances? This is via Zoom and via this conference and via this idea. So what are our challenges? What is our task which we have to fulfill? We all know the 17 goals of the United Nations for sustainable development. And out of these sustainable development goals, which led us through the last, let me say, 10, 20 years, and will lead us into the future in the next decades, we choose three goals: zero hunger, quality education, and the living together in cities and in communities. This is just to put some focus, because of course you cannot focus on 17 goals. It is impossible. However, the 17 goals are very important, and we all have to keep them in mind to really bring our world into a good future, and to really provide good life for all people. Good life brings me to one of the first points, which is in Spanish, buen vivir, and we will have also a look into good life. But so to focus a little bit more, and also all of our presentation, or most of the presentation, will focus on these three goals, these three sustainable development goals. The challenges. I mentioned challenges. The challenges are quite easily to see when you look to the Human Development Index. The HDI is composed of three components: life expectancy, education, and income. And I mean, this is very simple. You can quite easily get data of these three categories, and then you can formulate the HDI for each and every country. And here we have the examples for countries who are part of our symposium, of our conference. Of the highest rank would be 1.0, which no country really reaches. And we all know that the Scandinavian countries, led by Norway and by Iceland, are on top. They have a higher number than even Germany. And Germany is quite high. I think it's the rank number 6. And the US also belongs to the top group of the HDI. The Latin American countries which are here, sorry, I don't have the number for Brazil, but I think it is quite equal, are also on a high level. And in the middle level are Eswatini, South Africa, and Nepal. So these are the challenges. The challenges are quite easy. We have to raise the HDI. This applies for every one of us, if we are from agriculture, if we are from education, or from other fields, or from technical fields. The good message, and I want to stress this very, very much in the beginning of our meeting, the good message is that the HDI raised very much in the last decades. Here I have three parts of the world enlarged, and you can see Southeast Asia, you can see Latin America, and you can see South Africa. And all colors indicate that in the last 20, 30 years, the HDI was risen. So we are on a good way. The direction of our development is clear, and we made great success. Humanity really worked hard and was successful in the last decades in raising the HDI. Of course, what is not here is the pandemic situation, which we are suffering all over the world and which is hard for many of us. And it is harder for some of us than for others. And we will see how this affects the HDI improvement. But I'm quite sure that humanity is strong enough to overcome this situation and to really improve further. What I wanted to show by this picture here and compared to this year is that also in Latin America, of course, the HDI was improved a lot. But if you compare, if you compare with Northern America and with Chile and Argentina, the countries here, which are so small, they have the size of the country is linked to the HDI, so there is really space to improve. There should be much more improvement especially when you compare to the northern and the southern part of this continent. But also in South Africa, we should not complain only, but we should be proud on what was done, and we should be happy about everything which really improved the HDI. So we can see the challenge is clear. Sustainable development will affect the HDI, will affect the life of people, will affect not only their income, but also their health and the education. And the direction is clear. We are in a good way, but of course there is a long way left, and we will think about it, how this way could be done. When we traveled around the world, we had some impressions, and I would like to share let me say, my personal impressions, which I got in the different parts of the world about sustainability. And of course, as I'm a biologist, there is a lot concerning biology, concerning biodiversity, concerning the life of people. But of course, there is also a lot about technical development and educational development. So let's start to have an overview what I saw in the different parts of the world. When I went to Nepal, I saw a special kind of spirituality, which is indicated by this picture. There is a little goat. I will explain this later. Yeah, so just remember the goat. When I came to Latin America, we went there because of the Buen Vivir concept. I will explain this also further. And the Buen Vivir concept also gave us the impression that our technical solutions, which we have in the northern part of the world, in Europe and in the US, is not the only thing which we have to deal with. When we came to South Africa, we saw a lot of problems with erosion, and we also had some ideas how to overcome this, how to get solutions for this. But this is the reason why I invited you, or we invited invited you for this conference. We want to have ideas. Is this impression really true? Can we really rely on the impression which we had when we traveled around as Europeans? Or is there something more which only you can explain to us and which only you can really adjust to our impressions and which we can adjust worldwide? So as we are working with worldwide. Okay, so let's start in Latin America because we started our research there. In Latin America, we went because of the Buen Vivir concept. The Buen Vivir concept was put to the constitution of Ecuador and Bolivia in the end of the first decade of this century. And the preamble is written here. Of course, no one can read, not all of our English-speaking partners can read this Spanish preamble. So I have a translation. And I mean, these ideas which are said here, a dignified quality of life and death, the healthy flowering of all, in peace and harmony with nature, and the indefinite prolongation of human cultures. I mean, this is a great idea for a preamble of a constitution, isn't it? It is wonderful. And this brought us to the idea to visit Ecuador, and we had the opportunity not only to visit the country, but to meet the Secretary of State, who was responsible for this. Sorry, I'm going. Thank you. Who was responsible for this process? Because the Buen Vivir idea was not only put to the constitution, it was not only put to words, but it was also put to a process. And this process was designed for 4 or 5 years to bring Buen Vivir into reality in the country. And we were there to observe if it really functions. So we met Freddy Ehlers, who is in the middle of our group, and the visit there, there's also Anne, Anne again. Some of these students are already doctors and teachers, and so I hope they were influenced a lot by the visit there with Freddy Ehlers, because Freddy Ehlers did not only make a speech and a talk and explain everything, but he made an interactive session with the whole group. So this already showed us that Buen Vivir is not only a political line or a political program, but it is really a concept which comes to life. And then we went around and we came down the Andean heights, 5,000, 4,000 meters high, 2,500 meters high, down to the Amazonas region, to the rainforest. And there we met a different people. So one of the chiefs of the people is, you can see him here. He's sorry. First I explain. He has people maybe of 4,000 or 6,000 persons at all, and they have their own language and they have their own culture. And there we met another concept, and this concept is the concept of abundancy. Very simple to say, there is enough of everything. Everything is growing. I mean, in a tropical rainforest, always the growth is perfect. And there are a lot of fish in the rivers. There is a lot of wild animal to be hunted, and so on and so on. And they explained the Buen Vivir concept in a slightly different way. Of course, there is respect the laws of nature, communicate with humanity, and respect the myths which are in the human culture, for divinity, for something which is above the earth, between earth and heaven, but also for humanity, and respect nature, of course. Make good use of the life cycles and develop wisdom when you live together, and that life is in plenty. There is enough for everyone. So this is the concept which is not so much in Europe, because we always look to the limitations. We have more the idea of limited resources. And so we were very pleased to find another idea of sustainable development. Don't look so much to the limits, but look to the richness of nature and the richness of the people. We also went to the Andin. There we had a collaboration with the University of Cuenca. They have a program PITLOS, which is the research on sustainable development, intercultural. And we went higher up in the mountains to a community which has a solidarity economy. And this was also very impressive how how they live together and how they work together and share their richness with each other. This is a village. It has something like 10,000 people living in spattered small villages, and people move there because it is so attractive. And on the other picture, you can see us working in one of the workshops at the university to find out what's really up with PITLOS. Now we go to Nepal. In Nepal, of course, you have respect of nature. Nepal is one of the highest regions of the world. Ecuador and Colombia are also high, but Nepal is much higher up. And the respect is very natural because you have earthquakes, not too often, but sometimes, like in Latin America. So the power of nature is automatically giving you respect. Here you can see the high mountains, which are north from the capital Kathmandu, which are 6,000 meters high. And no mountain in Europe is as high as the mountains there. So it is very clear that you should take care about nature. What I observed there, that there is worshiping everywhere against each and everything. Look, there's the goat again. And I took the picture because when one of my friends started to eat, he took little pieces of the meal and distributed it to several holy places or places with some meanings. And later I saw the goat eating up this was a very little part of the food. At the marriage of other friends, there was worshiping of all elements. Here you can see the worship of fire. And then when we drove around, we could see that in a river, the mobiles were blessed by special spirits of the water. The water, these spirits will bless the engines of the farmers. So I found a lot of worshiping against natural things. I hope you can see the video. There is music and there is a lot of trouble of these people. When we came to South Africa, we saw this problem of erosion. And this is one of the topics which we exchange with our partners there. Heinz Beckedahl will also give a presentation later. Here you can see the scarps which erosion puts into the grounds. And of course, the grounds are very important to graze animals or to grow fruits. And one of the reasons might be the custom to burn down the grass. Of course, then the grass grows faster in the next, when the rain comes next spring. But in the time when the grass is burned down, of course, heavy rain can wash away the soil. So maybe this culture of burning down the grass is good for fertilization of the ground, but bad for protect against erosion. So here you can see one of our excursions researching on that area. Another impression of South Africa is the living together of all color of the human skins. I was very impressed by these children when I had the opportunity to join them on a field trip. When they went to a creek, you see in the morning it was quite fresh and they have all the coats on and the caps. But in the afternoon, it turned out to be quite warm and they made some investigation in the creek and they were searching for small animals. When we come up to the north, I was very impressed by the US because whoever was in the US knows they have nature like hell. There is so much that it is so less populated if you compare to Europe, for example, that there are nature conservation areas all over. And here is one of my friends in Georgia, who has a very nice area to educate young people and educate teacher students. And they have this meadow this meadow area. They have also a trial in the tree top, and you can research nature. And what is very interesting, he trains children. The children are, this for example is a 4th grader, and this girl painted a forest before she came in the beginning of the first visit in the forest. And then she stayed for 4 days in the forest. They were watching the birds, they were watching the animals. And after 4 days, she painted the forest again. And you can see the difference of the pictures. She observed a lot of details. She saw so many animals. She saw the influence of the sun and the light. And she also found many different kinds of plants. So this is the same child who was painting the pre and the post picture. A very nice way to research on what children really learn from nature and how they really can dive into nature and then hopefully respect nature and biodiversity much more. In Europe, we have technical solutions. As you might know, we are a country, especially Germany is a country of engineers and scientists. So if there is any problem, we've tried to find technical solutions. I hope you can follow the short video. Here we have the solution to produce renewable energy. And this is an acre of biofarming, so ecological farming. And there they produce a robot to extract the weed. So as we don't have too many persons to work on fields, on acres, this is a weed extraction robot. Okay, you can see, so the technical reasons. Another technical reason is the idea of sustainability. Sustainability was invented by a German forester in 1798, so 200 years ago. But the result is a monoculture of trees, because he wanted to have trees also in future. And maybe these trees were not planted by him. Maybe they are 100 or 120 years old, but this is a monoculture. It is not a forest. It is a production of timber. And here you can see this monoculture. Now at the moment it is gone. But if you compare with the real forest in Ecuador at the Rio Napo, then of course a real forest is full of biodiversity. So I would blame our European approach with technical solutions, and I would like to learn more from other countries. Coming to an end, I would like to give an overview again over the three development goals which we have. So the zero hunger goal is really functioning. In the last 25 years, hunger went down in the whole world, and this is indicated by this worldwide map. So humanity was able to fight hunger, and of course, we would be happy if in the next 15 years, hunger is completely washed away from our globe. If it comes to education, I have 3 topics. This is the ratio of persons who are in post-secondary education. And you can see that post-secondary education is risen in all countries which are here in our conference. In the US, it went down in the 1990s. I think it is linked that education in the US is also business. And if maybe due to the economic crisis, the businesses all went down. So you can see that it is maybe, this is one of the reasons why the education level in post-secondary went down. But in Europe, it is still higher than in other countries. There is something to do. This ratio is between primary students and teachers. And you can see that the ratio is going down even when the number of primary students is risen in the world. So this is very good news that we have more teaching and more teachers. And here you can see the length of the school visits in many countries of the world. And you can see that more students, more pupils are better educated if you compare the 2017 to 1990. So in just 25 years, 27 years, there is a great improvement. Again, I would like to stress that we improved. I'm not sure about our sustainable development goal number 11, because we have a lot of migration in the world. You know, most people migrate inside their countries or inside the continents, but there is a lot of migration. And how can we live together in future when we have so many new people joining us? Will it be that we have more, or let me say that we profit from spirituality? Here you can see another spirituality in Latin America. Will it be that we profit from public spaces in densely populated cities like Kathmandu, where we have place to exchange, where we have place to play, where we have place to develop our own community? Can we have safe homes like in South Africa? This is Soweto. You might know that this part of Johannesburg was very hardly harmed by riots in the 1970s and 1980s. And now it is quite a nice place, and many people have decent homes. And we need earthquake homes, as my friend in Nepal, his home broke down in the last earthquake, and he was able to build a new one, which is so stable that it hopefully will stay the next 2 or 3 earthquakes. So this is how we will live together. Our goal number 11. I'm very curious on what will come out in our symposium, what our friends will contribute to this conference. And our goal is, what can we learn from each other from different regions of the world? Let's keep our eyes open. We will not only present, but we will also publish. I would like to thank the preparation team, especially Shakil Rikmi, who made all this website things and so on, the invitations. I would like to thank Julio and Maria for translation into Espanol, and great thank to all contributions. And this will be today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, and also in paper. Okay, so Julio, can you give a very short comment in español?
Sí, correcto. Bueno, me quisiera saber si me escuchan. Que alguien me confirme si me escuchan.
Sí, sí, doctor.
Ok. Bueno, el profesor Martin Littner de la Universidad Martin Luther de Halle-Wittenberg hace la presentación primero mostrando el mapa de las personas convocadas a este evento. Y digamos que lo que en general a él le llama la atención es la posibilidad de reunir personas de tanta diversidad cultural para pensar también la diversidad de las formas de entender la sostenibilidad y también las formas de pensar su alcance. Pues él nombra que esta idea nace con los viajes que hace él alrededor del mundo, con los contactos que tiene y con el intercambio de estudiantes. Y así, a través del intercambio y de los viajes, él empezó a conocer diferentes formas de comprender la naturaleza, el ambiente y por tanto, la sostenibilidad. Entonces, él nombra en términos generales que en Nepal él conoció mucho sobre la espiritualidad como una forma de vivir constantemente en el día a día. Siempre estaba, digamos que esta forma de expresarse y de comunicarse con la naturaleza. En Latinoamérica él encuentra el buen vivir como una forma de entender la existencia humana, siempre con respeto y sacralidad hacia la naturaleza. En Eswatini y en Sudáfrica lo que él encuentra allí es como esa lucha por combatir la erosión, pero también por los dilemas de las comunidades que deben sembrar, y para ello muchas veces la opción más al alcance es hacer quemas para fertilizar, pero eso también empeora la erosión. y le llama la atención la convivencia multicultural en Sudáfrica. Respecto a sus visitas a los Estados Unidos, le llama mucho la atención todo este tema del aprendizaje en la naturaleza y la investigación que se hace en torno a ello. Y cómo pues es posible cambiar las concepciones de los estudiantes respecto a la naturaleza después de haber vivido la naturaleza. Y también nombra la forma en que Europa tradicionalmente quiere entender y resolver los problemas ambientales desde la sostenibilidad como una solución técnica. Entonces es cuando él muestra aquí todos estos avances o desarrollos tecnológicos para transformar estos contextos ambientales. Él hace como un resumen de algunos datos respecto a los tres focos de esta conferencia, que son tres de los objetivos del desarrollo sostenible. Uno que es el número 2, que es de erradicar el hambre, el número 4 de la educación de calidad, y el número 11 de ciudades y comunidades sostenibles. Encuentra que hay avances en cuanto al 2 de eliminar, erradicar el hambre, y también respecto al 4 de la educación. Pero le llama mucho la atención y se pregunta mucho respecto al número 11, porque entendiendo las nuevas o las más recientes o mayores migraciones de unos países a otros, pues cada vez las ciudades se van quedando cortas, y la pregunta es, ¿cómo vamos a vivir juntos si somos tan diversos? Entonces, él cierra diciendo que la meta de este congreso para todos es preguntarnos qué podemos aprender los unos y los otros desde nuestra diversidad para lograr estos objetivos. Muchas gracias.
Bravo, en 3 minutos.
Okay.
Bravo. Okay, Sakil, how do we proceed?
Yes, so if any one of us have any question, then you can proceed with some questions. Okay, so if you could pass me the hosting right, I would like to show the technical aspect once. Or I can share my screen. I think I can share my screen. Could you pass me the hosting right so that I can share my screen?
Shall I?
Yes.
You gave me the whole, okay. Sorry, Saki.
Yes, no problem at all. So I just want to show about the conference sessions. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
So this is the email which we sent yesterday about the Zoom link for the conference. So as you can see, there is the introduction and closure for day 1. So this is the link which we are using now, and we will use this link for the closure after the end of the sessions also. And we have 2 sessions, parallel session 1 and parallel session 2. The first one concerning education, and the second one concerning the other issues which we are talking about. So you can see from the schedule who is presenting in this session and who is presenting in this session, and based on your interest you can join any link which you would like, and the same for tomorrow and day after tomorrow also. The introduction and closure for day 2nd and 3rd, and the same parallel session 1 and 2 for day 2nd and 3rd. So we will follow the same routine and the same structure. And to find the conference schedule, you can click here to find the schedule. So this was sent to your email yesterday. If you have not received this email, please let us know, then we can forward it separately to you. So I think it was a great start to the conference. Thank you very much for the presentation. And I think we can move on to the next sessions, parallel session 1 and 2. Our colleague from Roots Groups, Samita, is hosting parallel session 1 in collaboration with Julio. And I will be hosting the parallel session 2 with Maria. So let's find ourselves in the respective sessions. I think we can end this session and log into the next session. If there is any concern or queries, then please let me know before closing.
Okay, so maybe we can share our telephone number also.
Yes.
So in the, this is my Martin's number, 049. So if you have problems to find any link or so, then just let me know by WhatsApp. But Saki, we have to leave this session now, yeah?
Yes, we will leave this session and then we will join the next session.
We join the next one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we can end this session and we'll start another session.
Shakil, I want to explain for the colleagues in Spanish. Bueno, colegas, como ustedes lo vieron en el correo electrónico de ayer y como lo acaba de explicar Shakil, tenemos diferentes links de Zoom para las sesiones. Ya acaba de pasar la introducción del día 1, que es en este link, y recordemos que ahora vamos a la sesión paralela 1 del día 1, que es con otro link. Entonces, para que tengamos siempre en cuenta cuál es el link que corresponde a cada sesión en la que estamos interesados. Entonces, ahí están los números telefónicos del profe Martín Lindna y el mío, si se necesitan algo. De todas formas, en los correos electrónicos que yo he enviado en los días anteriores, también está mi número de WhatsApp por si necesitan comunicarse. Gracias.
Thank you, Julia. So I will close the session now and then let's start with the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.